This week on the Tiaras Tears and Triumphs podcast, I want to talk about the thing that holds us back from becoming empowered. And I am speaking from a place of personal experience. At the time, I didn't recognize that this is what was happening, but it is easy for me to see it now that I have got off the old, well-worn path and onto a new one. So let me first just ask you a question. Are you finding it hard to cope with what you are contending with in your life right now? And let me ask you another question. Are you feeling powerless to know what to do to find solutions because the problems seem to be too big? Now, the first thing I want you to understand is that I am not asking you these questions to make you feel bad about yourself. Believe me, I've been there. But I want you to know the good news is that this episode explores how to get off that well-worn path of powerlessness and get you walking down the path of empowerment. And I want you to know that no matter how big and all-consuming your problems might be, there is a way to get onto the right track. If you're listening to this and thinking, I've tried everything and nothing works, I would just encourage you to tune into this episode and give the rest of this episode a listen before you rule out the potential to give yourself the relief that you have been longing for in your life. When we go on a healing journey, the most important tool to help us heal ourselves and our lives and just all areas of our lives that need healing is a thing called self-partnering. Now, self-partnering is the path you step onto that takes you away from the path you have been traveling on, which is a combination of things like self-avoidance and self-abandonment. Not to mention a whole lot more, which I'll go into later on in the episode. But like I said, I had no idea that what I was doing for a long time was self-avoidance and self-abandonment. I thought that I was doing the right thing to basically just get on with life, even if it meant being in survival mode. So I put myself down the bottom of the list of priorities and had somehow convinced myself that this was the natural order of things. So as a mother, I felt it was my duty to just put my own needs last on the list. I abandoned myself because I thought this was what I was required to do to make sure that my children were at the very least, I suppose, getting just the bare necessities in life. Now, in hindsight, I reflect and think about what I was teaching my children as they had me to model their future selves on. But I'm compassionate with myself as I have made some big changes in my life where they are able to see that I have prioritized partnering with myself to heal my life and heal all areas of my life. So hopefully they will also know in the future that that is what they need to do to heal themselves and their lives. So I'm glad that they have this opportunity now that they've seen this other side of me and what is possible. So I guess it helps them to see that we are all capable of change and we're all capable of creating a healthier version of ourselves. So if we are feeling broken on the inside, the chances are that the choices we make on the outside will usually match the way that we're feeling on the inside. So if we're feeling broken, devastated, betrayed, and traumatized on the inside, we can go for things like unhealthy people, substances, or pastimes to numb out the painful feelings with other painful activities. When we are in grave emotional pain, it can be challenging to remember that life and the journey of evolution are constant. So even though you might believe in the Buddhist philosophy of this too shall pass, you may not believe that to be true in your case. You may not see a light at the end of the tunnel. So with no guarantee of a solution in sight, looking for ways to escape can lead to what seems like the most natural thing to do, which is to abandon yourself. We are all here on this planet Earth for a finite time, and our truest mission that gets lost in the external stuff going on in our lives is to keep working at healing and releasing the inner programs we have adopted that are attracting to us the life we don't want to continue living. Many people don't begin to recognize a need for self-partnering until there is a life crisis that brings you to your knees, when there is something that happens to stop us in our tracks, where you can't carry on life in the same way you have been living to that point. This can be when there are big challenges or adversity or even tragedy. This is when you get to a point where you are standing at a crossroad, where you have two distinct paths to choose from. One is the familiar road that you have kept, that's kept you in self-avoidance and self-abandonment, and the other is to try another path where you choose to self-partner and see where this might lead. At this point, where you face a crossroad and you choose to go down the old path, it is an opportunity lost, and your life will stay on the same trajectory where things will get progressively worse. So if you choose this life, then this will keep bringing you to the same crossroad, because what it does is it wants to see you get onto another path where you can heal and bring joy back into your life again. So life will keep presenting you with opportunities that are disguised in these dramas and tragedies in your life. They will in fact be opportunities for you to get onto a path to help you heal. So this is really, really important to know.